Let me tell you something that might sound like a story, but it's not. It's a coded message for your soul. A few years ago, I disappeared. Not physically, but spiritually. I stopped answering texts, I stopped showing up to events, and I stopped pretending to be someone I wasn't. I sat on a mountaintop in my mind, in a cave in my energy, and I waited. I waited for something to find me, to speak to my bones. And when it did, it didn't come with words. It came with silence. It came with a knowing. And in that moment I realized something. I was never meant to be normal, to be part of the crowd. Maybe neither were you. You ever feel like the world is a play, and you're the only one who remembers it's all staged? Like everyone around you is hypnotized by the noise, the hustle, the distractions, and you're standing in a crowd, screaming with your soul, "Wake up!" But no one hears you, not really. If you've ever walked through your life feeling like you're not from here, like you're watching a movie that doesn't make sense, that might be your first sign. A rare, multidimensional chosen one doesn't fit. They bend the laws of reality without trying. They exist between dimensions, timelines, lifetimes, and that's not poetic. That's literal. You see, being chosen doesn't mean you're better than others. It means you're burdened with the responsibility of remembering. And I know that sounds heavy, but what if you remembered who you were before the noise of this life? Before the trauma, before the social conditioning, before the distractions? What if you remembered that you came here with codes, spiritual software embedded in your soul? You're not here to consume. You're here to awaken, but awakening hurts. It burns down everything that isn't real. And that's why most people run away from it.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound insights.
The first secret sign is that your life never made sense to others. You were probably the black sheep, the misunderstood one, the one who asked why too often. You questioned religion, you questioned school, you questioned authority, not from rebellion, but from knowing. A deep, unshakable knowing that something wasn't right, and that the script was flawed. You weren't born to memorize facts. You were born to remember truth, and truth doesn't come from books or professors or traditions. It comes from silence. It comes from pain. It comes from stillness, and once you taste it, you can't go back. There's a moment, somewhere between heartbreak and rebirth, where you realize your suffering wasn't random. It was the initiation. The second secret sign is that you've suffered deeply, and more than most. You've been abandoned, betrayed, broken. But here's what nobody told you. Pain is a portal. Every wound was a crack in the illusion. Every tear was a message from another realm. You weren't being punished. You were being sculpted, molded, refined. Because only those who've been shattered can hold the light. Your trauma didn't destroy you, it revealed you. Have you ever felt like you were in two places at once? Like part of you was here, grounded in the chaos of Earth, but another part of you was floating above, watching, guiding, whispering. That's not imagination. That's remembrance. The third secret sign, you have multidimensional awareness. You dream vividly. You sense things others don't. You know when someone is lying, even if they smile. You feel energy in a room before anyone speaks. You've had moments of déjà vu so intense you question time. That's because you're not just living this life, you're navigating many past lives, parallel lives, future timelines collapsing into this one. You are the bridge. And if you're still watching, still listening, then maybe you've already felt it. The fourth secret sign is solitude. Not loneliness, solitude. You crave it. You need it. Crowds drain you. Small talk feels like poison. You don't hate people, but you long for depth, for silence, for soul. You'd rather spend a night staring at the stars than talking about the weather. Because when you're alone, your soul speaks louder. You hear your guides. You feel the universe breathing. Solitude isn't your escape. It's your sanctuary. It's where your codes activate, where your mission downloads. Let me ask you something, and I want you to be honest. Have you ever had a moment where everything stopped? Time froze, your heart raced, and you felt something ancient calling your name from inside your own body? A whisper that said, "It's time to remember." That wasn't a coincidence. That was your soul alarm clock. The fifth and final secret sign is activation. You've had moments of sudden clarity, quantum leaps in understanding. You read something and it unlocks something. You meet someone and it feels like destiny. You see a number, a symbol, a dream, and your body reacts. Shivers, tears, goosebumps. That's not woo-woo. That's spirit technology. That's soul memory. We don't talk about this enough. Everyone wants to be spiritual, but no one wants to be chosen. Because being chosen requires death, not physical, but ego. You have to die to who you thought you were, to the roles, the masks, the conditioning. You have to become empty enough for divinity to pour into you. That's terrifying. That's liberating. That's the price. But let me tell you something they won't say in the books. Once you remember who you are, you can't unsee it. You will never fit in again. You will never be normal. You will never be asleep. And that's your power. Now, let's talk about the deeper layers, because this isn't just about signs. This is about mission. If you are a rare multidimensional chosen one, then you didn't come here to blend in. You came to disrupt, and to awaken, to unlock dormant codes in others just by being you. Your energy is medicine. Your voice is a tuning fork. Your presence is a catalyst. But to activate others, you must first activate yourself. You must go through the fire. You must become the alchemist of your own pain. Only then can your wisdom be trusted. Only then does the universe hand you the keys. I want you to look at your life right now. Not the filters, not the illusions. The real thing. Where are you hiding? Where are you shrinking? Where are you pretending to be less than you are? Do you realize that your sensitivity is sacred? That your empathy is a superpower? That your tears are prayers? We've been taught to numb, to hustle, to grind, but you were made to feel, and feel deeply, because only those who feel deeply can heal deeply. The world is starving for authentic healing, and that begins with you. You've probably noticed that people come to you with their pain. Strangers tell you their life story. Friends call you when they're lost. You carry the weight of others without even trying. That's not a coincidence. That's your field, your aura, your frequency. You are a portal, a lighthouse, a transmitter of higher frequencies. But here's the trap: you must learn to protect your energy. Because the brighter your light, the more shadows it attracts. Not to harm you, but to be seen, to be healed. You must discern who is ready to rise and who just wants to feed. Let me ask you something else. Have you ever questioned why you feel so ancient, so tired, even though you're young? That's not burnout. That's soul fatigue. You've been here before. You've walked this earth many times. You've held the torch of wisdom in collapsing civilizations. You've remembered truths that were buried. You've spoken words that shifted timelines. And now you're back. Why? Because this is the moment. This is the shift, and your soul signed up for this mission. But let's be clear, being a chosen one doesn't mean life gets easier. In fact, it often gets more intense. Because you're not here to play it safe. You're here to break patterns, to dismantle systems, to embody a new reality. That requires fierce truth, radical self-love, and unwavering courage. You will lose people. You will be misunderstood. You will outgrow spaces, but you will also find your tribe. You will meet others who carry the same codes. You will remember that you are never alone, that we are all pieces of the same cosmic puzzle. And when you start aligning with your mission, the universe responds. Synchronicities multiply, opportunities appear, and bends. You realize that you don't manifest with vision boards, you manifest with frequency. You become magnetic, not because you're trying, but because you're aligned. You don't chase, you attract. You don't beg, you embody. And that's the difference between wanting to be spiritual and truly awakening. Every moment you choose truth over comfort, alignment over approval, you step deeper into your chosen path. And the world needs you. Not the masked version, not the people-pleasing version. The raw, wild, multidimensional you. The one who remembers, the one who sees beyond the veil, the one who feels the pulse of the universe in their chest. You are not crazy. You are not broken. You are awakening. You are activating. You are remembering. If you've made it this far, then maybe you're not just watching a video. Maybe your soul guided you here. Maybe this is your wake-up call. Maybe this is the moment everything shifts. The question is, will you answer the call? Will you stop hiding? Will you rise? Let's go deeper now. Because awakening is not a single light bulb moment, it is a series of soul earthquakes. It's not linear, and it's not always beautiful. Sometimes it's messy. Sometimes it feels like your life is falling apart. Like everything you thought was real is crumbling beneath your feet. But that's the point. For something divine to be built, the false must be burned. And here's the truth most people avoid. The moment you accept being a rare, multidimensional chosen one, you stop waiting for permission to become who you already are. You begin to see the patterns, not just in your life, but in others. You see how people repeat cycles, how they stay trapped in karmic loops. And something inside you screams to break free, not just for yourself, but for your ancestors, your lineage, your soul family. That's the burden and the blessing of being chosen. You are the one they've been waiting for. You are the pattern breaker, the curse ender, the one who said, "It ends with me." But nobody tells you how heavy that choice can be. Nobody tells you how isolating it can feel when you start walking a path that few even know exists. Have you noticed how often your life resets? Just when you think you've figured it out, new job, new friends, new city, everything shifts again. That's not failure. That's divine redirection. The universe doesn't let chosen ones get comfortable in illusion. You are constantly being pulled, stretched, broken, and remade. Why? Because every version of you is a stepping stone to the next frequency. You are not static. You are not meant to settle. You are a living transmission. You are evolution in human form. And that means you must shed skin after skin, identity after identity, until only truth remains. The loneliness you feel, that's not because you're unworthy of love. It's because your soul is calibrated to a different vibration. You're not here for surface-level connections, but you crave soul-to-soul resonance. You want conversations that feel like time travel, but you want eye contact that feels like portals. And until you meet others who carry the same codes, the world can feel painfully shallow. But don't let that discourage you. Let it prepare you. Because the deeper your solitude, the more sacred your tribe will be. You are not meant to find your people through algorithms. You will find them through resonance. Let me ask you something that might stir your soul. What would happen if you stopped apologizing for your light? What would shift if you stopped dimming yourself to fit in rooms you were sent to transform? If you're truly a multidimensional chosen one, then you are not just here to awaken, you are here to ignite. Your presence alone shifts energy. Your words trigger remembrance. Your silence speaks volumes. You've always known things you couldn't explain. You've always felt timelines collapsing into your body. That's not fantasy. That's memory. That's activation. We live in a world that worships logic and mocks intuition. But your intuition is your compass. It's your direct line to source, and the more you trust it, the louder it gets. As a chosen one, logic will often fail you. What makes sense to others will feel like poison to you. You'll be called to make leaps that defy reason. You'll be guided to say yes when everything around you says no. But every time you follow that pull, miracles happen. Divine alignment unfolds. Reality bends. And you realize that magic isn't fiction, it's your birthright. Another thing you've probably noticed, your relationship with time is different. You don't experience it like others do. Sometimes, hours feel like seconds. Other times, a minute stretches into eternity. That's because you're not bound to linear time. Your consciousness is quantum. You access memories from the future. You feel emotions from past lives. You collapse timelines with your choices. That's why you can shift your entire reality with a single decision, a single breath. But with that power comes responsibility. You must learn to master your energy, not just react to it. There's a moment in every chosen one's journey when they hit the void. Nothing feels right. Nothing makes sense. The old reality dissolves, but the new one hasn't arrived yet. That's not punishment. That's the space between stories. It's where your soul rewrites your destiny. Most people panic in the void. They try to fill it with distraction, noise, control. But if you can sit in the silence, if you can surrender to the unknown, everything changes. Because the void is not empty, it's fertile. It's where you become the co-creator of your own timeline. And here's something few will tell you. Being a multidimensional chosen one means you will trigger people just by existing. Your truth will feel like violence to those still living in lies. Your light will expose their shadows. Your freedom will challenge their cages. And they will project. They will resist. Some will try to dim you, to mock you, to silence you. But don't take it personally. You are not here to be liked. You are here to be real, and to be a mirror, to be a reminder. And the more you embody your truth, the more the right people will find you, not because you chased them, but because you became a beacon. Have you ever felt an inexplicable pull to certain places, symbols, or numbers? Maybe you've always been drawn to Egypt, or the stars, or sacred geometry. That's not random, that's soul memory. You've been here before. You've done this before, and the signs are everywhere. The numbers repeating. Dreams that feel more real than waking life. The encounters that feel orchestrated. That's the universe nudging you, whispering, guiding, waking you up. And the more you pay attention, the more it speaks. The more you listen, the more the path reveals itself. Let me ask you something deeper now. What if your greatest wound was also your greatest gift? What if the thing you've been trying to hide, heal, or forget is the very thing that makes you powerful? We spend so much time trying to escape our pain, but what if the pain was the compass? What if the trauma was the teacher? You didn't come here to escape your humanity. You came here to alchemize it, to transmute density into light, to turn suffering into wisdom. That's the work of a chosen one. That's the sacred contract. You're not here to follow a spiritual aesthetic. You're here to embody a spiritual frequency. That means you don't need the crystals or the mantras or the endless books unless they truly resonate, because your soul already knows. Your body is the temple. Your breath is the prayer. Your truth is the ritual. And when you strip it all back, when you get raw and real with yourself, you realize that the most spiritual thing you can do is tell the truth, but live the truth. Be the truth. You've probably had moments where the veil thins, where time collapses, where you feel the presence of something beyond this world. Maybe it came in meditation. Maybe it came in heartbreak. Maybe it came when you were least expecting it. That's part of the multidimensional experience. You are not just accessing higher realms, you are anchoring them. You are a channel, a vessel. And when you stop resisting that, when you surrender to it, the downloads come, and the visions sharpen. The mission clarifies. But here's the thing, you must ground it. It's not enough to float in the clouds of spiritual insight. You must bring it to earth. You must make it real. That means creating, speaking, serving, building. That means showing up. That means turning your pain into purpose, your story into medicine, your voice into a lighthouse. This world doesn't need more gurus. It needs more embodied souls, people who have walked through the fire and come out with their hearts open, people who remember who they are and live like it. And let's talk about resistance, because the moment you start stepping into your power, all your inner shadows rise. Doubt, fear, insecurity, imposter syndrome. That's not a sign you're failing. That's a sign you're expanding. The mind freaks out when the soul takes the lead. But you must keep going. Keep choosing your higher self, even when your ego screams. But keep trusting the path, even when it's dark. Because every time you do, you anchor more light. You become more real. You become more you. You were never meant to be small. You were never meant to conform. You were meant to evolve. And evolution is messy. It's raw. It's non-linear. But it's sacred. And if you've made it this far, then you're not just curious, you're remembering. You're activating. You're stepping into who you were always meant to be. And I honor that. I see you. I feel you. We are not many, but we are mighty. And when we rise, the world shifts. So I leave you with this question: what are you waiting for? What illusion still has a grip on your soul? What lie are you still telling yourself about why you can't be who you truly are? The world is changing. The veils are thinning. The timelines are splitting. This is the moment. This is the call. Will you answer it? So here we are. You're still here. That means something. That means your soul was ready not just to listen, but to remember. This isn't entertainment. This is initiation. And by making it to this final part, you've crossed a threshold that few ever reach. Because most people want comfort, not truth. Most people want validation, not transformation. But you, there's something different about you. Maybe you've always known it, or maybe you're just starting to see the outline of something ancient stirring inside you. A voice that says, you were never meant to be asleep. Let's go beyond signs now. Let's talk about embodiment. Because being a chosen one is not about labels, it's about living. You can know all the signs, have all the dreams, feel all the energy, but if you don't act on it, if you don't become it, it means nothing. Multidimensional awareness without grounded purpose is just spiritual escapism. So what are you doing with your gifts? What are you building with your knowing? What frequencies are you transmitting through your daily choices, your words, your presence? Because your life is your message, and the way you live is the way you teach. Do you feel that pressure sometimes? And that sense that you're running out of time, even when you don't know what the deadline is? That's not anxiety. That's soul urgency. It's the recognition that your mission is active. It's not waiting for you in a decade. It's here. It's now. And the longer you delay, the heavier the resistance becomes. Because your soul came to earth with blueprints. And every time you ignore the call, you create dissonance in your field. You don't need to figure it all out. You just need to start. Take the next step. Follow the next nudge. Trust the next whisper. This world is in a state of forgetting. But you didn't come here to forget. You came here to remember and to help others do the same. That's why your path has been so intense. That's why you've experienced so much contrast. Because only through contrast can you see clearly. But only through the shadow do you learn to claim your light. You've been through darkness not because you were cursed, but because you were called. But called to become the kind of being who can hold space for others in their own darkness. And not through preaching, but through presence. Have you ever noticed that the more you align with your soul, the less you can tolerate anything fake? The more you awaken, the more allergic you become to inauthenticity. You can't fake smiles anymore. You can't tolerate shallow conversations. But your body literally reacts to environments and people that are not in resonance. But that's not you being difficult. That's your frequency evolving. And as you evolve, you start to realize that your energy is your currency. You start to become radically selective about where you go, who you give your time to, what you say yes to, because everything becomes sacred. Let's get real for a moment. There will be days when you want to quit, when you want to go back to sleep, when the weight of your awareness feels like too much. And that's okay. That's normal. Awakening is not a straight line. It's a spiral. You will revisit old wounds, old patterns, old stories. But each time you return with more light, more wisdom, more clarity. Don't judge yourself for feeling tired. You're not just healing your own life, you're transmuting generations of programming. You're not just remembering for yourself, you're remembering for your entire soul lineage. And here's the paradox: the more awakened you become, the more human you must be. Because your divinity doesn't exempt you from life, it deepens your experience of it. You're not here to float above the world. You're here to walk through it with open eyes, open heart, open soul. You're here to love deeply, feel fully, cry loudly, laugh wildly. Enlightenment is not detachment, it's radical aliveness. It's being fully here while knowing you are also beyond here. That's the multidimensional experience. That's the mastery. You've probably noticed that your idea of success has changed. You no longer care about the old metrics, money, fame, approval. You crave alignment. You crave impact. You want to feel like your life is an extension of your soul, not a mask you wear to survive. That's the shift. That's the revolution. And it's not easy, because the world will try to pull you back into the matrix. But once you've seen the truth, you can't unsee it. Once you've felt the frequency of your soul, everything else feels hollow. But don't isolate yourself in your awakening. That's a trap. The ego loves to turn spiritual growth into superiority. Don't fall for it. You're not better than others because you remember. You're just earlier on the timeline. Everyone's awakening is sacred. Everyone's path is divine. The moment you judge someone else's level of awareness, you've disconnected from your own. So walk with humility, speak with grace, lead with love. Your wisdom is not meant to divide, it's meant to unite. And the true sign of a master is not how much they know, but how deeply they listen. Have you ever felt like you were carrying someone else's emotions? Like you were feeling sadness that wasn't yours, anxiety that seemed to appear out of nowhere? That's because your energetic field is open. You're empathic, you're sensitive, and that's a gift, but only if you learn how to manage it. You must ground, you must cleanse, you must create energetic boundaries, not walls, but filters. You're not here to absorb everyone's pain. You're here to transmute it. But you can only do that if your vessel is clear. Self-care is not selfish. It's your sacred duty. Spirituality is not about escaping the world. It's about changing it by changing yourself. Every time you choose love over fear, presence over distraction, truth over comfort, you shift the collective. That's real power. That's real service. You don't need a massive platform to be impactful. You just need to be real. Authenticity is your superpower. Integrity is your currency. And when you live in alignment, the universe conspires with you. There will come a moment, if it hasn't already, when you're asked to take a leap into the unknown, a leap into your highest timeline. It won't make sense, it won't be safe, but it will be right. And everything in your body will say, this is it. When that moment comes, don't hesitate. Don't overthink. Jump, because that's when the magic happens. That's when the universe catches you. That's when you realize you were never alone. You are a rare soul, chosen not by some external force, but by your own higher self. You chose this. You signed up for this. You said yes to this mission before you were born. And now, it's time to remember why. Time to live like the universe is watching, because it is. Time to stop pretending you're small when your soul is infinite. Time to stop hiding when your light is needed more than ever. This isn't a spiritual phase. This is your soul's revolution. So what now? What do you do with all of this? You live it. You embody it. You speak your truth, even when your voice shakes. You follow the signs, even when the path is invisible. You trust the pull, even when the world says you're crazy. Because you didn't come here to be understood. You came here to be real, and the world doesn't need more people who fit in. It needs more people who remember who they are. But let me ask you one final question, and let it echo in your soul. What would your life look like if you stopped pretending you weren't chosen? What would shift if you finally owned your multidimensional nature? If you stopped waiting for the right time, the perfect conditions, the external validation, and just decided to live as the awakened soul you truly are?